gosh, it's time. Hi, I'm Beth Z. I'm your nerdy best friend. And the best advice that I never took was make sure nobody can see the mess in your office when you have the full camera on.
I love that, Beth. That's so funny, right? Because I would tell you 3 years ago that was bad advice, right? Like 3 years ago, you had to hide that. Nobody expected that, and now it's like, come on, I want to like. Are you real? Is that a fake background? No, I
Yeah.
know, right? I know that's a real background. Those are real fake glasses on your wall there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They're real. And so is that pile of stuff. And
Yeah.
expect the cat to come in any minute or one of them.
Oh, fun, fun. How many cats you got?
That's not a very nice question. Next question. You
Okay.
might judge me and it's not my fault. So
Okay, so how many cats does DJ have?
DJ, it's his fault. 6 inside, one that came with the house who lives in the barn. He's the Kato Caitlin of cats. And then 2 or 3 that visit. We live in the country and people just leave their cats. I mean, they just roam. They're just feral. And
Free
so
range cats.
and then we feed them and then they don't leave.
That's funny.
Not my
I don't
fault.
judge.
Not my
I
fault.
don't judge. I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from a little itty bitty town. At one point, I think my grandma had 100 cats on the farm. So
Right.
I'm not here to judge. So and she fed them until they would bite her and give her rabies. And she was only 100 pounds, so it was like 21 gun salute right in the belly to get the rabies shot. So yeah, because that's what wildcats do. So make sure you're up to date on your rabies shots
Yeah,
if you want.
yeah, I've got some scratches. Yesterday I was talking to our mutual friend Jessica Pettit and she's
Yeah.
awesome. And one of my cats decided it was time to come visit, but she did a flying jump and I was wearing sleeveless. She did a flying jump, didn't land correctly, just stuck to flesh and held with that face and I'm looking down she's looking and I'm like if you go up, you tear the flesh. If you go down, you tear the flesh. I don't know where we're going with this. So, because I couldn't really reach her. So, live on camera.
Oh my goodness. Ouch. That is painful. Well, you know what's not painful though is the way that you talk about apps in your book. I have to say, you make it very simple. That's pretty wild. I mean, Beth, you know that I'm a fellow nerd. I'm a member of the nerd herd for Zoom in here, right? So this is a first edition of Beth's book. I have bought. I think I've been in the nerd herd since you launched it, pretty much, or really close anyway. So when I first heard about it, I joined because I learn a lot, and I love apps too, right? Like I know you're probably the only person in the world that I would admit that knows more apps than me. So congratulations, right? Yeah.
Yeah, what can I say? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Above the mess in the back there, I won an award right there. So I know it's see through, which is kind of a bummer. I think I'll get some velvet,
There
but
you go. Yeah, that's good. Some velvet. Yeah, that'll work. That'll
well,
work. So
the
so
thing about you is that you have a wide variety. You teach about selling. You teach about connections with selling, and you use technology to do some of it. I am only apps. Like I have no depth other than cats and apps. That's it. Those are the things that I know. So you have knowledge and apps. I have apps and cats.
so caps or apps. Which do you have to pick?
Yeah, apps. Don't tell anybody.
All right, I
I
won't
really
tell.
like my tech.
There you go. Yeah. Well, DJ won't watch the show, so he'd be the only one that would know it
No,
better. So
no, he doesn't read
yeah,
the book. He doesn't. He says they don't have a plot. So
that's interesting. I've looked for one. I haven't found one either, and I actually don't mind. So that makes it easier for me to
there
digest.
you
So
go.
I'm actually pretty good with that. So let's talk about that, Beth. So first, let's back up and rewind to Beth. How did you become your nerdy best friend, Beth?
Well, it's funny when I first started talking about apps and tech tools, I was searching for a tagline, right? And I was like the quick tech trainer and the geek lady and like all these things like tech time Beth or whatever, just crazy things. And I'm like, I don't, I had a mentor and he was like, nope, nope, nope. And I said, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just your nerdy best friend. He said, yep. And that was it. Like That's who I am. That is always who I am. Like the chick who sits in the corner grading papers for her teachers. And when you have a tech question, I can sometimes answer. There was no branding. It was just saying it
Who
out
you
loud.
are. Yeah. No, that's fun. That's so fun. Well, with that, so Beth, do you remember like the first app that you recommended that people were like really excited that you shared, or maybe one that you hope they'd get excited about, like early on as you started sharing tech tips?
Well, where this came about, it was 2007 when I first started collecting them officially, like officially. And I was sad and single. I had just been dumped. Like seriously, it was a Friday night. I had just been dumped. I was sitting there on a Friday night, sad as anything. And I wrote to this listserv and I said, you know what? I have all these web apps. That was the thing, 2007. I have these web apps. Like one of them was oh, why can't I remember? It starts with a Z. A site you go to where you upload things and it automatically converts it. What's Zamzar? Zamzar.
Yeah.
And then Fax Zero. They both have Z's. All of these little things. Fax Zero is free faxing. Like sometimes you still need to fax, and it's free faxing on the internet. So I was like, I have all these little sites, these little gems. Does anybody else have any? And they're like, oh my gosh! And they said at the time it was the most responded to post that they had ever had. And everybody was like, oh yeah, because it's these little secret things that we're like, we want to share. And so I started putting them in a list. But like those were the ones that I started with. Zamzar is still around. Fax Zero is still around. And apps weren't apps at the time. The iPhone had just come out.
Yep.
2007. The iPhone had just come out, and so the world was changing. And they called it the App Store, but we didn't really. Apps were still, spinach covered things at Applebee's, right? So that wasn't a thing yet, but all these little tech tools. So Zamzar, there was one that was a color site where you could get the color hex code in a second. And I'm like, these are so cool. These are so cool. So that's where I started with all of them.
That's cool. That's cool. So yeah, I still I have Color Picker actually in my toolbar right now in
Yeah.
Chrome. That's
Yep. I
important.
have one too. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Remove, let's see, remove background. I've got crop a circle in an image. That's another one
Oh,
that I've found. Let's see. M4A to MP3, MP4 to MP3. Those are some of the ones
well,
that
I
I
got,
have in
I
my
got that
browser.
one. It's called Download All Images. And have you ever gone to a site where like you've got 75 things you want to get because you want to make a little movie or something or whatever, and you have to go one and two? Nope. Download all images. You click a button, and guess what it does? Downloads all your images in one click.
That is fantastic. Wow. Those are super helpful and super useful. I mean, if I'm thinking about it, right, for my sales folks to put that practical, right, they might need to be putting together a presentation from a client site, and they
Right?
might use that and pop those in PowerPoint or in
Yep.
now Google Slides or Keynote, wherever you do that, or Prezi. Do you use Prezi, Beth, or are you still a PowerPoint? Have you moved to Prezi?
Prezi Video, yes. Now Prezi still don't tell Prezi because I have a good relationship with them, but they make me kind of nauseated,
Yeah.
right? Some of them are and then and then rant. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? But Prezi Video is phenomenal. That's the one where you can use it. It's even free. You can use it and have your slides over your face. But that what I love the most about it is that from a selling point of view, from a perspective where you're trying to get people's attention, when you want to make a point, you can take the slides off. When you want to make a point about the slide, you can put it over you or you can have it just be on there. And so you've got three different views, unlike your regular share your screen. You've got three different views where I want to make a point. I don't want anybody to be looking at the slide. I want to make a point on the slide. Like, and it's just boop, boop, boop. It's right there and it hooks into all your video conferencing tools. So
Wow.
yes, present video, yes. I
Prezi
haven't used
video.
Canva as a presentation tool yet. I keep being tempted, but I haven't used it yet. It has a live
Canva?
component. Canva,
Really?
yeah, it has a live component, and you can actually send it out to people to have them follow along while you are presenting. And they actually um, they combined with Pair. You know Pair? PEAR. Pair is another presentation tool, and it has a lot of interactive things in it. It's a little expensive for professionals. Schools use it a lot, but Canva just combined with Pair or partnered with Pair to have interactive slides. So you can play like trivia and everybody's on their screen and they can do trivia or they and do different things. I'm sorry.
Wow.
This is my life. So
No, don't be sorry. No, this is why
I'm
we're
really
talking
excited.
today. So I really just wanted to pick your brain and find out some new apps. So this is working out good for me. So with that, right? So, but in all sincerity, though, Beth, you've got how many apps do you feature in this book?
I think this one has about 450, and for every one I put in there, I probably checked out 10.
My
Yeah.
goodness. My
So,
goodness.
yeah.
This is the one though I think that is organized the best, at least for my brain, right? So because it has the ways that all the chapters, right? So stay organized, stay focused, stay safe, be efficient, right? Meet better. So if you had which category of those? I know this is going to be like picking your kids, but you got to do it. Which is your favorite category of apps?
Which is my favorite category of apps? I like the video making apps. I do a hands-on video course that is fantastic. The video making apps anybody can use. So many of us need in so many different ways, and we keep hearing video is king. Video is king-ish. You know, there are some formats it doesn't work. Sometimes people are tired of you making a fun video for them to watch instead of just telling them what the blank you want them to tell. Oh, wait, we're doing a video right now. So, but I love the graphic ones. The problem is I get kind of stuck up in them. So that's a challenge. I used to love the travel ones. I don't travel as much as I did before COVID. You know, things have kind of shifted and morphed into different lives. So I used to couldn't live without TripIt. One time we tried a new system and I was literally on a plane breathing like this because I didn't have all the info because TripIt was so perfect with all the info. And TripIt manages all your little travel pieces and puts them all in kind of a flippable, easy thing. And I didn't have access to that because we were trying something new. And I'm like, nope, nope, not going to happen again. Ooh. So my travel tools used to be really valuable to me, but I think my favorites are the video tools.
So what's your favorite like little known video app? I mean, we could say Zoom or we could say Restream, right? I mean, those are big ones. What's a little known one that you love that you've been, that you do a lot with?
I haven't. Don't make me pick. Okay, it's like making me pick one of the cats. I haven't used it that much, but there's a whole new concept of video where they use artificial intelligence to look at the words you are writing or to import a blog post and automatically choose media and a format and words to tell your story. Now, it's a good first draft, and there's one called Steve.ai from Pickmaker. Now, I don't know why they call it Steve. I don't know, but Steve. Then there's one I've been using for a long time, and they have a weird name as well called Lumen 5, Lumen. There's one called Wave dot video.
Yep.
Very intriguing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it will you can now import a blog into there and it just kind of cuts the right pieces and finds the right media and just kind of sets it out. It's always a first draft. Don't ever think that it's going to be automatic because it's going to say like you're going to say banana and it's going to show you a picture of an avocado. Like just weird not good stuff or whatever. And don't get me started on what brings up when you say the word nerd. I had to write to someone today because we're getting out the word about this might be a good segue into find your inner nerd day. And so we're getting a little press. And I had to write to someone today to politely ask them to not translate your nerdy best friend to your stupid best friend. Please use the translator to try again with the word nerd. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. I would never think that, right? When I think I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's just because you're my friend, that I think well of nerds. Maybe it's because I'm one too. I mean, but I think it's someone that's helpful, that's smart, right? That probably rocks some cool glasses. Although, if I had some tape here, right, with my black glasses, that might be really nice. That was Louis Skolnick in Revenge
Yes.
of the Nerds,
Yes.
right? So
And
Skolnick,
movies that did not age well. I
no,
just want you to
yeah,
know. Yeah.
yeah, no, not at all, not at all. Mm-mm. So
I
with
tried
that,
to, but not anymore.
yeah, no, not at all. And yeah, in Nerds in Paradise, the Nerds 2, even worse,
Ooh.
aged even worse. Yeah. So the Anthony Edwards was in that movie. He's Goose in Top Gun, and he was one of the doctors in ER.
ER, and that's why I can't take him seriously in Top Gun. Is because he was the kind of nerdy doctor in ER, and I just can't. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Never connected those.
that's interesting. Well, in '86, I watched Top Gun, the second half of it, because I went to Legal Eagles and saw that instead of watching Top Gun.
Ah,
Yeah, I was off at choir camp, so little known fact. So before we segue though into the Find Your Nerd Day, right? The wonderful thing that is August 23rd, right? About finding your inner nerd. Let's talk a little bit more about those video apps,
mhm.
Beth, because I think that's a good place. Salespeople need those, leaders need those. They need to be a little interesting, but they need to be, I think, more relevant with those. One of the tools that I've found that works really well with that is Descript. Have you heard of Descript?
Love, so
Yeah,
much love, so
yeah.
much insane love. I'm sorry. So much
So tell me
insane
about
love
why you love it.
because it has cut my video editing time down by 75%. I am not kidding you because it used to be when you recorded something, you had to go through and watch it again to edit it and find the little spots. With Descript, you upload it. It totally transcribes it and then you edit the words. And not only that, but if you pay for, I think it's $250 a year, you get the overdub feature, which clones your voice. Thank you very much. And you can change the words that you spoke. It's insane. It's insane because they bought Lyrebird. I don't know if you remember Lyrebird. Lyrebird was the first one with that. And there's like a whole, this is deep fake stuff that you can have for very little money. Like it's insane. And there's all kinds of ethical things and they make you like a test and do these things. And it's like, yeah, people can still abuse this. Thank you for asking. You know that. But I cannot believe y'all, if you're listening, Descript is beyond it's so worth the money. It's so worth the money. And I use it all the time. In fact, I was using it today to find a little snippet of something somebody told me about a tool that I've just put it into use called Text Expander. And uh, I mean, you just search for words. You take out all your ums and uhs. You just search for them and they disappear. What is happening? How do
Wow.
you use it? I'm curious because that's how I use it is for video editing. How do you use
For
it?
sure. No, same way. Video editing is where it's at. Podcast editing, right? Audio editing. I would say though, for those listening, right? So edit the video and then export it and then just convert it. Because that way you'd only have to edit one time. Right? I'm all about, like that's one of the reasons why I do a live video show because now I've got video in three places and then I can cut it down. I take the MP3 and then I've got it somewhere, then I've got an audio only podcast. So I give people four chance to watch. So those 29 people that are subscribed, thank you very much in four places. So good work. They'll see that. Three of them are my mom, only because she can't remember the password to most of her accounts. But the rest is, all people. In fact, we have LinkedIn user here who says you can deep fake yourself. So if you're LinkedIn user and that was you as a comment, make sure that you have your profile set to public so that we can see who the heck you are when you make a comment. That's in your settings on there. Facebook, you'd have to allow restream.io. So just a little tip there. If you're listening later and you're like, what is he talking about? Don't worry about it. But those of you watching, right, change that up so that people can see who the heck you are. So anyway, so enough of that. So let's talk about Find your inner nerd day. I think that's an interesting thing because that is, I think we've all got some nerds. So how'd you come up with this, Beth?
Well, in the newest book, Nerd 365, A Year of Opportunities to Upgrade Your Life, available on Amazon.com. So in the newest book, seriously, I love those little holidays. Like there's National Clean Up Your Computer Month and World Photography Day, Let's Laugh Day, Talk Like Yoda Day. So I instead of just like doing pretty much an encyclopedia of apps like I have in the past, I took those days and paired them with apps. And I thought, man, I don't have a day. And there was only one other day that had the word nerd in it. It's Word Nerd Day, right? So there were no nerd days. There's Embrace Your Geekiness Day, there's Hike with a Geek Day, but there's no nerd days. So I said, I got to find a nerd day. I got to found one. And so I found out to found a day, you just say it's a day. That's that's it. In fact, on August 7th is Professional Speakers Day. It's you just find a day and you say this is the day and you just say it. But we have been yes, it now is. But I also worked with a company because I found out a lot about it. You have there are groups where you can pay to have a day on their site. So we did one of those, and we got a lot of them pick up on that from there. A lot of other of the groups just kind of copy what's out there, I think. So we worked with one, and then we're on several sites. There's a library who is hosting a Find Your Inner Nerd Day.
Where?
No, a homeschool group put it on a worksheet for Find
Love
Your
it.
Inner Nerd Day, August 23rd. So I just wanted to have a day to recognize people who have these little passions. When you're talking to someone, they're talking about a hobby or they're talking about a side of them you didn't know. If that makes that person go, I didn't see that coming, that is their inner nerd. That's something that they're passionate about. I was at a podcast the other day and or she was talking about mushrooming, like finding mushrooms. And sh- I said I did not see that coming, right? And that's her inner nerd. And she just got all excited like Phil, I know you're outer nerd. We have outer nerd, but what is something that is an inner nerd piece with you?
Oh, pinball for sure. Right.
Yeah.
So I love pinball. I'm a pinball wizard. Every city I travel to, and to your point, right? I travel less than I did, but everywhere that I go, I try to find a place to play pinball at.
Well, there you go. 22% of the 29 people who are subscribed had no idea that you were interested in pinball that much and that was a passion for you. I'm not sure what percentage, what number of that is, but
Four. Yeah.
four people. No, I bet all 29 people who subscribe, who are watching around here, didn't know that. And that's what I'm talking about. Are these little things? They're the inside pieces of yours. And Find Your Inner Nerd Day is not only to recognize that that's your nerd power, but also to share it with others and to find others. So you could put it out there and find a whole bunch of people who are, state to state pinball wizards and really enjoy it.
Love that. That's great. That's so simple and such a great connector and such a great opportunity for us to find our own inner nerd and then to share our inner nerd. So maybe the 25th is find your or 23rd, I'm sorry, is Find Your Inner Nerd Day. And then the next day, the 24th, would be Share Your Inner Nerd Day, right? So you should make 2 days back to back, right? Because you got to share it, you got to know it, right?
Yep. Well, I say find it and share it. We've only got a
There you
day
go.
because it's
All right.
it's a very busy day. Very busy things are happening because it's also hashtag day.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yep.
that's why we chose that day because hashtag day is the day hashtags were invented by Chris Messina on Twitter. And I was on it. I remember when these things started. He just said, hey, how about we use a hashtag so it's easier to search this topic? And people were like, oh, that sounds good. And so instead of, having Twitter was very new and searching something was like you just searched and hoped that it came up. But now that I had a hashtag, you could search with all the things and they would come up. So it was originally just a way to search. And so I thought that's a great way that you bring people together is hashtag cat hat knitting. And you can find,
And you'll come up a picture of your house, right? Is that
yeah,
how that'll work?
it's bad.
Cats and apps, Beth. Cats and apps, right? That's
Exactly.
funny. So speaking of apps, what's your favorite appetizer?
Oh, yeah, anything with bacon.
Anything with
Pretty
bacon. So like the
pretty
bacon covered water
big
chestnuts.
category. Yeah,
Yeah.
bacon.
Do you eat it first watch and get their $1 million bacon?
I do, but I started making my own bacon appetizers, and let me tell you, they're so cute. You take a piece of bacon and you dip it in like maple syrup or something incredibly caloric, and then you twist the bacon, right? To make a little straw kind of thing, and then you bake it twisted. And then you put it in a glass and a little straw thing, and it's so cute and it's so good. And you don't have to pay $1 million at first watch for it.
There you go. There you go. I was at first watch this morning for breakfast. That's what made me
Oh,
think of that. So
it was very yummy. It is very yummy. Yeah.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. So cool. Well, hey, so I'm gonna quote a little piece of your book here because I want people to get a little flavor for how you write because it's fun. Like that's one of the things that I like best about you is that not only is it, hey, here's a cool app, but also it's in a fun way. So this is on page 161. It's on Stay Healthy. It says burn calories at your desk. Hypocrite alert! As I write about National Move More Month, April, I realize I've been sitting in this chair for 5.3 hours straight. Don't be like me. Give these fitness tools a try. So the two, you say, Wake Out was the Apple app of the year. I've never heard that. I vowed to limit the tools in this book to ones you can find on at least 2 platforms, but I feel obliged to include Wake Out because I bought it specifically for the marathon running sessions for this book. Plus, the site gives you a bunch of samples, so perhaps that counts as web-based access. Wake Out is designed to help you get little bursts of movement in your home office, and I love it. From the kitchen-based fridge scan squats to the seated coffee worship arm bends, the little exercise will make you move and smile. If you're not an Apple fan, my fitness pal has millions of loyal followers for activity and calorie training. So wakeout.app, really cool. Page 161, super fun, Beth. I, you know that I love you and I love this book. It's fantastic. So what would be one, like, okay, now somebody's smart. They bought the book. Where do they get started in the book? Do they have to read it sequentially or give us one way, maybe an unexpected way that they can use the book and put that into use in their life or their sales?
I think it's fun to go to your birthday, right? Because it's organized by different dates and things. When I go into a session in a group, I say, okay, what's your birthday? Who's got a birthday in October? Somebody gives me the birthday, and I'm like, oh, October 17th, National Payback a Friend Day. Let's go. And let's look at that until you kind of understand what you might be looking for. Because when I'm actually telling people how to think about technology, I say, don't think about the apps first. Think about the problem first, right?
Yeah.
My email sucks. My note taking is bad. It's all over the place. When I travel, I'm completely unorganized. My brother-in-law wrote me today. He texted me and he said, "How Beth do you is there something when you're taking a road trip to like understand what you're passing, like historical markers and things?" And I'm like, "Yep." And so he had a problem that he wanted solved rather than starting from, hey, here's an app about a road trip. I'm going to incorporate it because that's what some of us do. That's what I do. But for most people, it's not as productive as find an app and find a problem it'll solve. You have a problem, find an app that'll solve it. That's a better way.
I think that's really smart. I think that's really, really smart. And that is something we all can do, right? That's the best part. That's something we all can do. We can think about apps a little differently, which I really love, right? If we think about them as solutions to problems, but we have to have a problem first, I think that's great. So, really good stuff, Beth. As always, you're brilliant and you share great stuff. So, folks, I want to encourage you to get to know Beth a little more. Check out Find Your Inner inner nerd day. I'll fix that, right? So your inner nerd day, and that's at your nerdy best friend.com. That's how you get to know Beth. And Beth, if there was one other place online that people could chat with you, that they could connect with you, that maybe you're sharing more of this stuff, besides obviously your brilliant blog and awesome newsletter, which is one of the only ones that I actually open that I subscribe to, what would it be, Beth?
Well, I wait, let me tell y'all something that's very exciting before we do that. Google, about 3 or 4 months ago, opened up the .day URL. They own .day. So I got find your inner nerd .day. I got meet with Beth Z 2.day. You can do it for, like, if you've got a special occasion, like you're married and you want to, Phil and what's her
Stephanie.
Phil and Stephanie anniversary.day, whatever. You can do your own days. I love that. So I forgot what you asked, but go do that because it's more fun than what you asked. Oh, how funny. Yeah, my newsletter is my most chatty spot. Unlike Phil, I remember, Phil, you interviewed me for another thing once, and you had checked out my Twitter, and it was kind of awkward because you said, "Well, Beth, looks like you're an occasional Twitter user," and I'm like, "Yeah, if I had known, I would have stacked it up." I'm a fair weather Twitterer. I admit it. On Facebook, I'm trying to be more pithy. On LinkedIn. But mostly I just talk to myself, my cats, and my husband if he'll listen. So
That's fine. Yeah. Your nerdybestfriend.com is your best place, though, Beth. I learn a lot there. I know our viewers, our listeners will as well. And as always, I appreciate you. This book is fantastic. It's Nerd 365, a year of opportunities to upgrade your life. She is Beth Ziesenis, your nerdy best friend. Check her out, get to know her, and try a new app. Start with your birthday and have fun. Thank you so much, Beth. You're fantastic.
thank you. Thanks.